So, today's talk is on the wisdom in the age of information and meditation. Wisdom in the age of information. I think this is an important topic because we are living in the age of information. Not only we are living in the age of information, but we proudly call ourselves the lucky ones living in the age of information. And it indeed is true that we get a lot of information. But unfortunately, much of the information is junk information. So to prove my point correct, don't we have a junk mail? We get so many types of junk mails. This reminded me teaching by the Buddha, who is said to have said that your mind is not a dustbin, your mind is not your brain or your mind is not a junkyard. Your mind should be like a garden where beautiful flowers grow, not where you collect all the rubbish. I think this is true. But today, unfortunately, we are overloaded with information. And not only we are overloaded with information, but everybody is trying to get a little bit of information from here and there. And in fact, if you are not updated with whatever information it is, people might say, "Oh, you don't know that," and look down upon you, right? You are not updated. So therefore, we need to be very careful, right? I have been repeatedly saying that we are very much worried about updating ourselves with the so-called latest model of gadgets and technology. For example, your phones, iPhones or whatever. Now these days you have what, iPhone 13 or 14 or something like that. I don't even have a clear idea. So even in the case of just one phone, iPhone, it has been updated so many times with more so-called facilities and things like that. So we keep on updating those things. But when was the last time you updated yourself? That is the problem. We keep on updating the external paraphernalia, the facilities and so forth. And the person who is using these facilities is the same narrow-minded, stupid fellow, not able to live harmoniously with others, not able to show love and compassion, not able to extend a helping hand. So what is said in Buddhism, and also not only Buddhism, but according to some great thinkers both of the East and the West, they have always been emphasizing on updating yourself as a person, that your knowledge must grow, your wisdom must grow. So therefore, while it is important to let technological progress take place if it goes in the right direction, but if it goes in the wrong direction, then of course we are already in the wrong direction. We have so much weapons to kill each other, but not enough instruments to do away with this invisible virus. So it's clear which direction we are going. So now the main point, one of the important point that I am going to say here is, there is a beautiful teaching by one great Indian Buddhist saint by the name Shantideva, who came in the 8th century. And he said, life is short. There are too many things to know, and we do not know how long we are going to live. Therefore, take only those which is really necessary for you. I think it's really important for us to pay attention to such wisdom. Life is short. Nobody can dispute that. Life is short. Short means even if you live 100 years, it is short. Out of 100 years, half of your life you sleep, that is night. So then in between food and clothing and washing, going up and down, you really don't have much time for doing sensible things. So life is short. And also there is no guarantee that we will live 100 years. Some die young, some die in the womb of the mother, some die when the babies are born and just start crawling, they die. Some die in the prime of their youth. Some unexpectedly die through a road accident, earthquake, whatever. So many causes for death. Wrong ways of life, wrong food, so many things are there. So life is short. Nobody can dispute that. Not only life is short, but there are too many things to know. I mean, just forget everything. Even if you have to spend your whole life reading or listening to the TED Talks, your life will not be enough. There are so many TED Talks already given. Even if you just follow the information supplied by Google or Facebook, or if you go to the ancient tradition and read some of the Vedic books, your life is very short. It's not enough to understand the depth of these ancient traditions and things like that. So what should we do now? Life is short, there are too many things to know. It's simple. The answer is there are too many things to know, but it is not necessary for me to know everything. If you are thirsty, you need to drink water, right? But it is not necessary that you drink the whole ocean, and you can't drink it. There is no need to drink it, and also you can't drink the whole ocean. However much thirsty you are, you can't drink the whole ocean, and there is no need also. Similarly, there is this ocean of information, ocean of knowledge. You don't have to have it. You need to have something, just as you need to drink the certain amount of water to quench your thirst. Similarly, you need to have those surviving tactics, the proper education, which will make you and others' life flourish. So here we need to think about the meaning of education. Unfortunately, in today's world, education basically is equated with literacy. Education means reading, writing, mathematics. If you are good in reading, good in writing, good in mathematics, and then by that you have a piece of the degree called MPhil, PhD, whatever, and then you get a job, they will give you a certain amount of salary in a month, then you think this is life. There is no guarantee with that kind of life there is happiness. So education must lead to the human flourishing. That means the human being should, based on that education, must be at ease, must be in peace, must be in happiness. Life is not just breathing. Breathing, some machines also do kind of breathing. So that by that we cannot say that that machine has a living life, right? So therefore, we need to constantly remind ourselves that this life that we obtain today is, number one, short. Not only short, but this life that we have obtained today is a precious human life, not the life of a dog or a cow or things like that. but life of intelligent human being. So therefore, we must not waste this great brain and great mind for small things, especially for destructive purposes. When intelligent people invent destructive nuclear bombs, that intelligence is called corrupted intelligence. That will not only not help you and others, it will destroy everybody on this planet. Right? Let me give you an example. Let us say all of us are traveling in a boat, okay? And let us say that we are meeting in that boat for the first time. We are tourists coming from different parts of the planet and traveling in the same boat. Suddenly, the water becomes turbulent, the ocean becomes turbulent, and the boat in which we are traveling becomes shaky and rocky. What should we do now at that point of the time? Shall we talk about the differences of being man and women? Shall we emphasize on the differences of which country you came from? Because we are all being shaken violently by the turbulent sea. What should we do at that time? At that time, making unnecessary discrimination, differentiation doesn't make sense at all. When I give such small examples, you can easily understand it, but we are basically living on a very rocky planet, very turbulent time we are living. So it doesn't make any sense to make unnecessary discrimination, division, exploiting each other, bullying each other, engaging in corruption. These are not only not good for you, it is not good for everybody. For this life, and if you are a believer in the future lives, it is also not good for your future lives. If you are a believer in religion, believer in any kind of dharma, then leading such a life is total hypocrisy. Right? So therefore, if we make the right choice, choice is ours. If we make the right choice, even if you live for 10 years or even 1 year, that's enough. Good life. Unfortunately or fortunately, ordinarily, people want to live long. इतना लंबा समय तक जी करके क्या करोगे? This is the question, you see. You know, there is, I think, in an old age Indian story where there was a father who had 100 sons and who himself is now 1000 years old, and all his sons are like over 100 and so forth. So when the father, who had 100 sons, all married, 100 wives and so forth, then the Lord of Death came to that man and he said, you lived very long, you are now 100 years old, it is your time to go. Then the father said, I know I am 1000 years old, but still I want to live. But I have many sons, so in place of me, take one of them. Then the Lord of the Death goes to the eldest son, saying that this is what your father said. Then he also says, no, I don't want to go, talk to my younger brother. So like that he goes all the way down to the youngest one, who was quite young. And then the youngest one happily, smilingly said, yes, 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 I want to go, I want to die. The Lord of Death was a little bit shocked. He said, your father doesn't want to die, doesn't want to go, all your elder sons, elder brothers don't want to go. So in your case, not only you want to go, but you seem to be very excited. Why? Then this youngest son, he said, when my father who lived 1000 years old, and when my brothers who lived very, very long life, even by living so many years, if they did not get anything, I don't think I am also going to get anything. So, I want to go. So, that is that. You see, just by living long does not mean anything, especially if you continue to do negative destructive things, then it is better to die young. I mean, of course, I am not asking that you should kill yourself or commit suicide. I am not saying things like that, right. So, therefore, we should live our life, even if it is 1 minute, even if it is 1 hour, even if it is 10 months or whatever. Each and every moment, each and every hour, each and every day, each and every month, we should live it in such a way that you are at peace with yourself. Before you talk about living harmoniously with others, you should be at peace with yourself, and you should be able to vibrate that kind of energy around, so that others who come into contact with you also feel at ease, feel comfortable, and get peace. That is purpose of human life. Purpose of human life is happiness. Purpose of human life is, of course, not suffering. And as I said yesterday, much of suffering is created by ourselves. So, therefore, it is we need to make a promise, we need to make a commitment by saying that whatever may come in my life, I will never make my mind unhappy. This is not a religious discourse, this is a common sense discourse. And if you make such a promise, take such a stand and transform your mind and make this commitment, whatever may come, life will be turbulent, there will be ups and downs, that is part of the deal, part of the package of life. So, under such circumstances, you should not lose your courage, you should not lose your hope, and you should always remain cheerful and happy. When you are in peace, when you are happy, when you are cheerful, then your mind becomes clear. When your mind becomes clear, the mind becomes inventive, the mind becomes original. Then the mind is able to do many great things. It is able to concentrate, it is able to meditate, it is able to develop wisdom and so forth. Right? All these positive qualities and emotions that we are talking about cannot be generated by a turbulent mind, like a mind when it is angry. Right? So, therefore, I use this topic called information, wisdom in the age of information, is that unfortunately today we live in a world where it has become a fashion for everybody to say that I am busy, I am busy, I am busy. It is not important you are busy. What is important is what are you busy about, तो किस चीज़ में व्यस्त हैं, that is important. If you are busy with stupid things and get tired, it is your own self creation, self torture that you are bringing upon yourself. So, therefore, at least I do not know whether you will agree with me or not, but at least from my point of view, that we should make our life simple, do not make it unnecessarily complicated. Right? Then in order to make life simple, first you must understand yourself. Who are you? What is it that you want in your life? Before you make judgment about others, first understand yourself. What is it that you want? Right? Then do not interfere in the matters of others. Do not make unreasonable judgments. If you look at the state of your body also, you have two eyes, whether God has given it or nature has given it, you have two eyes, 2 ears, but only one mouth, which means speak less. Of course, right now you ask me to speak, so I have to speak. Otherwise, generally speaking, it says speak less, only one mouth. In order to not to just run after information, but to get knowledge and wisdom, speak less, see more, see the reality. हिंदी में हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, आंखों देखा हाल. Then it becomes truth. You have seen it with your naked eyes, not just gossip because somebody else has said it. Right? So therefore, in order to move from information to knowledge and then to wisdom, it is important that you use your faculty of reasoning. Don't just follow others, don't just follow the crowd. Without your personal judgment, if you simply follow and listen to others, you will make a lot of mistakes. Much of the problem that we see in the society is created by rumor mongers. We run after rumor. Like even when, for example, with this present problem with Ukraine and Russia and so forth, also there are so many politics that is being done, and if you keep on listening to all of them, you will get confused. Both the sides are telling different stories. So as much as possible, try to use your faculty of reasoning and understand it. That's very, very important. So that's why listen, two eyes, listen, eyes also not in front, not backward, two directions. So listen to the news coming this direction, and see the truth by yourself. And until you are really convinced about the truth, don't speak much. And also the benefit of listening to others than speaking more is, if you listen more, you will get their knowledge. If you keep on speaking what you know, like I am speaking, it may be some benefit for others, but for me it may be probably repeating what I already know. Right? So if you look at the structure itself, now the nose also, see nose, it is down, not like pig, especially in the case of human beings, the nostrils are downwards, which is basically to see whether you are smelly or not. It is not for searching things in the garbage as the pigs do, where the nose is outside, nostrils outside. In the case of a human being, it is like that. Then tongue inside. So only when the food comes in, then the tongue has a job to do it, not otherwise. So if you then look at the two arms, two long arms. This is good for hugging, bringing friendship, shaking hands. Not good for hitting. If it is good for hitting, then we don't need these nice fingers. It should come as a fist, which will be good. So if you look at the structure of the whole body, then look at the teeth. It is not good strong enough to kill animals like the tigers and lions. If we try to kill animals with our teeth, forget about killing other animals, or all your teeth will fall out. Then also the nails. It's not like the strong claws of an eagle or a vulture or things like that. So basically, if you look at the whole structure of human body, it is for peace, it is for non-violence, it is for compassion. If that is the case, then why there is so much problem in today's world? Much of the problem that we see in the world today is because of not giving proper education to the brain, to the mind. The smart brain, the smart mind is not trained in the right direction, it is trained in the wrong direction. So therefore, if we want long lasting peace and happiness and harmony in the world, then the only possible way, the only right way is to train this smart brain or smart mind to the positive side by developing loving kindness, by developing compassion, by understanding the law of nature, as I said yesterday. The more you are able to see the reality as it is, without bias, without discrimination, That is important in life. In Buddhism, there is a very important philosophical point where we discuss much about the gap between appearance and reality. Appearance and reality. Now, in our life, most of the time we run after appearance, where our life is so much rushed. So much rushed that we are unable to make clear judgment and use our faculty of reasoning. So, because you do not take enough time to see the reality, but instead you jump after the appearance, then you make all the mistakes. Let me elaborate this point, it is very important, because what I am saying is, gradually we need to develop wisdom, and wisdom must come through reasoning, through understanding the reality, not just chasing the appearance. Now, appearance. In your marriage, you go after appearance, how the girl looks, how the boy looks, how tall the boy is, how tall the girl is, and things like that. You look after the appearance and say, oh, she is very beautiful, oh, he is very handsome. Then without seeing, without taking enough time to see, is a person, that person, the boy or girl is reliable, trustworthy, honest, good or not, without seeing that, you just go after appearance, you get crazy, and then quickly you get married, then you sing your songs during the honeymoon, then after the honeymoon, after short honeymoon, then you start seeing the reality. Then what you experience is 4 दिन की चांदनी फिर अंधेरी रात. So, this is, I am giving you an example which we can all understand. Similarly, when you go for shopping, for example, if you go for shopping in a big mall, look at how things are arranged in the mall. They are arranged perfectly, so beautifully, because they are creating the appearance, because they know you will be fooled by the appearance. All these amazing things, almost like illusory things that we see on the television screen, all these countless advertisements that we see on the screen are creating illusions, creating certain appearances by which you are duped, by which you are attracted. Like for example, in one of the advertisement, there is an advertisement about a particular soap or particular shampoo, where it is said that if you use this shampoo for 1 week, you will just shine out and you will become, you will have a beautiful complexion, things like that. I mean, I have been paying attention to these advertisements, and I have been thinking for a long time, how many stupid people are there in this world. A clear indication there are so many stupid people are there is that this advertisement are always has been there for a long time, still uninterrupted, it is going on. It means there are people who buy these things in accordance with the advertisement. Now, I am not saying, I am not trying to turn the clock back. I am not trying to be cynical. You might think this stupid old monk is a cynical monk. I am not trying to turn the clock back. I am not saying that all advertisements are useless, things like, but much of the information, much of the advertisement is exaggeration. Much of the advertisement is just to sell something to you. And these days, mind you, these days, when we have started buying many of these things on internet, through internet, there are so many like people who sell things, who advertise things beautifully, and when you pay the money, the stuff never comes. They will just take the money. Imagine we are living in such a society where people do not hesitate in taking away the money from other people by all means, by robbing, by stealing, by fooling, whatever. So, therefore, it is important that we should not be fooled easily by the prevailing circumstances and situations. So, therefore, do not just go after appearance, take time and try to see the reality, whether it is marriage, whether it is shopping, Now with the shopping thing I want to continue a little bit. For example, as I said, everything is like arranged nicely. The packet of the fruit juice looks so nice, and the wrapping of anything that you buy looks so nice. It really looks attractive, and the price also, there is a saying, okay, actually it is 800, but for you discount it is 500. Amazing, so much discount, and you believe it. You see, you have no idea how much it will actually cost, but because it is stated there, you start thinking this is true. Then not only you buy one, but you will buy maybe two, because in that shelf there is a note there saying that buy one free. वो भी है ना. You need only one, but they are so clever in tempting you. They say buy one free. Then you start thinking, oh, I need only one, but it's free, so I should take that so that I can give one to my friend and things like that. Then you start buying all these things. Okay, and then the process that you go through in the mall when you go for shopping is so interesting, that there is a pile of basket lying there, and when you enter the mall you may not have clear idea what to buy, but because people who went ahead of you, they took the basket, and you also like a monkey, F that person and take the basket, empty basket. Now you cannot just move around all the time with an empty basket. So then you suddenly see buy one free, things like that. Then you start putting it, putting it. This is called shopping coma. You're already almost fainting. You're coma, and you're just like a zombie moving around and buying things. You are really not sure how much money you have, what you really need. You're not so sure. You're simply following other people. Then you start putting. Then when you actually pay the money also, actually you don't have much idea how much money you have. Many people don't have any idea how much money they have in their plastic card. If it is real money, then you might get some idea, right? Now in the plastic card, you are also among the elite group. So give that plastic card and the machine will draw your money out. You get the bill, and then you take your things and go home. Only after you reach home, you come back to your senses. When you unload your package and start counting, then you start, oh my God, why the hell I bought this one? It's already there in the kitchen. It's already there in my room. So this shows you are in a shopping coma, right? And this kind of possibility is there, explained in ancient Tibetan Buddhist text. In some of these big melas in those days, now we are talking about mall, but in ancient time there are some big melas where big crowd come together. People are in such a frenzy, they are in a kind of coma, that many mothers lose their child. मेरा बच्चा खो गया बोलते हैं ना. Right? So therefore, these are some of the examples that I want to give you to take you to the point that there is a huge gap between appearance and reality in all facets of your life. Take time and judge and see the reality. Use your reason, not just go after appearance, not just run after crowd. And it is not important that you are busy. Take time to take rest, energize yourself, right? And today we live in such a busy life that basically our mind is not functioning, because the mind never got food, number one, as I said yesterday. Also, secondarily, the mind also not getting enough rest, because you have been running for what nobody knows, and you are tired. And when you are tired, then you don't have much energy for anything. Then you get easily irritated and angry and fear, things like that other people are mistreating you. Then you develop all those unreasonable suspicions and things like that. So therefore, as I had spoken yesterday, that in order to settle in your life, in order to get that happiness, happiness is not rainbow. If you chase it, it will become like rainbow. The rainbow from a distance looks great, but the closer you reach, the closer, the greater that rainbow disappears. So happiness is not something that you will get when you get married. Happiness is something that you will not get when you do your PhD, only after PhD. Happiness is something that you will not get, you will get only after when you get a job. No. Happiness is something that you need to grow under your feet. That means happiness is something that you need to enjoy, that you need to develop right now at this moment. How can you do that? Take the example of small kids, innocent kids, don't have much education, the so-called education that we the elder people have. They don't have that education. They don't have much capacity to look after themselves, but they live in the moment. Even if they get a broken child, broken toy, or even if they get some small biscuit or sweets and things like that, they are very happy. They are very happy, and they happily play with other children, other kids. Even if these kids they fight, and then after a few moments, then they go near to each other, and then talk to each other, and then play again. They forget everything. They don't keep any enmity in their mind. Now look at the so-called educated elders. Number one, despite our given education, given facility, given husband, given wife, given parents, being a human being, with all these facilities, still you are not so satisfied in your life. And when slight difference happens between two people, you keep it in your mind, right? And the end result is you cannot be happy. How can you be happy? You can never be happy with that kind of attitude. So therefore, live like those innocent children and be happy. And there are many reasons to be happy. Once I was giving a talk in Moscow many years back. I was speaking something like this, that you should be happy. Then there was an elderly Russian lady sitting in the front line. She said, Geshe, I am a very elderly Russian lady, living alone, nobody looking after me, so how can I be happy? So I am sure you all have similar type of questions, because the problem with human beings is we are very good in counting the misfortunes. We are not good in counting the blessings. That is the problem. So you need to start counting your blessings, things that you have. The other day yesterday I said that you are the only one original copy in this world. That means you have your unique capacity. Realize that. So therefore, to this question by this Russian lady, I told her that I understand, I am sorry that you are living alone, you are old and maybe having not many people looking after you, but still you have two eyes intact. I could see she had both the eyes intact, both the hands intact, both the legs intact. Said, you are lucky. Have you thought about it? How many people are there in the world who have lost their eyes? How many people are there who have lost their legs? So when you relate to such people, then you feel happy. Yes, I am really lucky. Both the eyes intact. Imagine if your one eye is not functioning, one leg is not functioning. It's a great problem. Right now you have it. So be happy. Not only be happy, but use that eye properly now to benefit others. See those things which you should see, not what you want to see. That is another problem. Human beings keep on seeing what they want to see, never see what they should be seeing. Therefore, we never make progress. And then, as I said, this hand also not for hitting, but for helping, but for shaking hands, bringing more friends, like that. And then, as I said, you are today not not a cow or not a donkey, not a dog. Once one Western nun came to see me many years back. He said, Geshe, I have been living in Dharamshala for many years. Oh, not this one, another story, sorry. Yes, another lady, she came to me. She asked me to teach her meditation. Then I told her, there's nothing much to teach. So today itself, you go out, and this whole morning, you should imagine yourself as a cow, not a human being, and live like a cow. Then you will know what is the meaning of meditation. The purpose of my saying that is, as I already said, we don't realize the great many, qualities that we have as a human being, and we keep on complaining. So now, for at least for half a day, if you imagine yourself as a cow and try to live like a cow, where are you going to get your food? What kind of food you are going to get? Where are you going to take rest? Then you will realize how lucky I am as a human being with all these facilities around, which these poor animals they don't have. Right? So therefore, it is through such comparative studies in real life that you will be able to get a glimpse of who you are and the significance of having taken this amazing human rebirth. Right? So therefore, as I said, it is not important that you try to get all the information. Don't do that. It's a wastage of time. When you try to get information, then try to get proper information. To get that proper information, you need to listen, as I said yesterday. Listen carefully. Think carefully. Right? So from listening you will get a wisdom. Proper listening. That is not just getting all the information and you get a wisdom. No. In Buddhism we talk about the threefold process of developing wisdom. Wisdom through listening, wisdom through thinking, wisdom through meditation. So wisdom through listening or reading books means that you listen properly. Your mind should not be biased. Try to get the correct information. Through that you will get a wisdom, which will also help develop the second stage of the practice, which is thinking. And then by thinking properly, by contemplation, you will also be able to develop a wisdom that comes through thinking, which will gradually lead to meditation. And through repeated meditation, you will get a wisdom through meditation. So these are the processes of gaining it. Now, in order to get that proper information, to what sources we should depend? Much of the modern medias unfortunately are not very reliable. They are influenced by certain political parties or certain business people and things like that. So therefore it is important that even if you listen to some of them, but after listening to it you should try to find the truth by yourself. So therefore what I am saying is, we live in a world awash with information, but we seem to face a growing scarcity of wisdom. And what is worse, we confuse the two. We believe that having access to more information produces more knowledge, which results in more wisdom. But anything, if there is anything that is true, then the opposite is true. More and more information without proper context interpretation only muddles our understanding of the world rather than enriching it. Right? So, some scholars, they talk about ladder of understanding or staircase of understanding. In order to develop proper understanding, there is a systematic process. At its base is the piece of information. That is the first step. And that information, not any kind of information, but proper information, well shifted information. That information at the base simply tells us some basic fact about the world, if it is proper information, right? And above that is knowledge. The understanding of how different bits of information fit together. That is what I am saying. It is not enough to listen to all kind of information, but then you use your common sense and try to develop an understanding of how all the different bits of information fit together to reveal some truth. थोड़ा कुछ सच्चाई जो है उसको जानने के लिए, some truth about the world. So, knowledge hinges on an act of correlation and interpretation, not just taking everything for granted, but comparing, doing comparative studies. And at the top is wisdom, which has a moral component. Wisdom has a moral component, and it is the application of information worth remembering. When you get many of this information, thereby knowledge, so it is the application of information worth remembering and knowledge that matters to understanding not only the how world works, but also how it should work. How it works to get some knowledge is good, but how it should work, it is even more important. And that requires a moral framework of what should and should not matter, as well as an ideal of world at its highest potentiality. So, to elucidate this point more clearly, information is like having a library of books on shipbuilding. If you have a whole library of how to build a ship, and from there you get all kind of information. So, that is information. Knowledge applies that to building a ship. It is not just information, you apply it to build a ship. So, access to the information, to the books, is a prerequisite for the knowledge, but not a guarantee of it. Now, once you built your ship, wisdom is what allows you to sail it without sinking. So, in our life also, you get information, then knowledge, then to get wisdom means the knowledge that you got, the life you are living, you should ensure it such that your life is not ruined. So, there you need this very important component of moral ethics. So, these days not only in spiritual discourses, but in many other areas people have started talking more about emotion regulation of emotions. That means doing away with negative emotions and improving and promoting positive emotions. ठीक है ना? So, remember this. Once you have built your ship, wisdom is what allows you to sail it without sinking, to protect it from the storm that creeps up from the horizon in the dead of the night, to point it just so that the wind breathes life into its sails. Moral wisdom helps you to tell the difference between the right direction and wrong direction in steering the ship. So, that is what I was saying right in the beginning. Education is for human flourishing, you see. So as I started yesterday, you ask this very pertinent question, I want happiness, I want long lasting happiness. From where this long lasting happiness is going to come? Use your reason and find that out and cultivate it. There is no reason you won't be happy. Now, this does not mean to say you will have no problem, no difficulty in your life, but because of your having cultivated a way of thinking, having cultivated mental outlook, in all ups and downs in life, you will be able to sail smoothly. Ordinarily, people are very sensitive, very emotional. With a slight good news, they get so excited, so happy that they almost explode and almost burst out. When the slight bad news, when something little bit goes wrong, they get so dejected and lose their hope, and that get. Now today so many people are suffering from depression, unfortunately. This is your mental attitude, right? This reminds me of Buddhist prayer. One of the Buddhist teacher, he says, if I am going to die tonight, it is wonderful. Of course, in our case we will be frightened, we will be shocked, oh, I am going to die tonight, This Buddhist master says, if I am going to die tonight, wonderful, because I am not going to live long creating suffering upon other people. See the way of thinking. The person is totally dedicated in helping others. And when you are totally dedicated in helping others, you are not so much carried away your personal problems and personal worries. So he says, if I am going to die tonight, it is wonderful, because I will not continue to live long creating sufferings upon other people. But he is not pessimistic by saying that. The next line he says, if I am not going to die tonight, but going to live a long healthy life, wonderful. Then I will live a long healthy life and continue to help many people. See, that is the attitude, you see. That is the attitude. This also reminds me of some Buddhist teachers who say, when they hear the word suffering, they would laugh at it and say, what do you mean by suffering? There is no suffering. This is how you see things, your mental attitude. And these days I have observed it very carefully, these days because of the pandemic, occasionally you are compelled to do this RT-PCR test, right? Then on the morning, when it is your turn to do the RT-PCR test, I mean, you may be physically well, everything is okay, but because you are going for the test, you have this worry, maybe I will become positive. Just because of this worry, you already, before the test, you already feel a little bit, uneasiness in the throat. You look like coughing more. That is what I am saying, your mind plays such important role. Therefore, mind training is not just a Buddhist teaching, Buddhist talk, but the importance of mental calmness, mental training, developing healthy perspective in all situations and surroundings is really very important throughout your life. When you are happy, when you are unhappy, when you have friends, when you have no friends, you should. Therefore, we are talking so much about understanding the reality. When I talk about reality, there are so many phases of reality. The reality is that you are impermanent, you are going to die. Accept that. Accept that. So under such a situation, what is the best for you to do? Your friends are going to die. They are going to go to different places. You may never meet them again. Your relatives also similarly, right? So accept that. In that situation, if you accept that reality, interestingly, for example, if you are somebody who has really understood this meaning, as I said yesterday, that we are all going to die, then it does not make any sense to create any problem to anybody, right? Just like the example there I put with the people in a turbulent, in a ship in a turbulent sea. So at such a difficult situation, the only thing these people will think about is how to live harmoniously, how to help each other, how to pray together, not making any differentiation. Now ordinarily we don't have that understanding, therefore we always think, oh, this is from that country, this is from this country, this is Chinese, this is Tibetan, this is American, then you make all these discriminations. And you are the most important one, you are the center of the universe, everybody should be judged from your side. That's the problem, the self-grasping. So therefore it is important to open up and get the right information, then right knowledge, then right wisdom. Then you will be happy in all situations. Whether you are sick, you will be happy, mentally much better. And when you have such mental attitude, now it is scientifically and medically proved, people who have positive mental attitude, they are able to recover quickly, right? They are able to heal much faster. It is medically proved. I am not just making it up. So there is a lot to say in this area. So therefore I want to do this right, cite this quotation from Buddha, who said, self is the protector of the self, no one else can be, self is the protector of the self, no one else can be the protector. Likewise, self is the enemy of the self, no one else can be the enemy. We are very good in pointing out that because of that person out there I am suffering, because of that climate out there I am suffering, because of that situation out there I am suffering. Instead of transforming yourself, you try to transform the whole world, which is actually joke. As somebody correctly said, yesterday I was clever, I tried to change the world, and today I am wise, I am changing myself. Thank you.